Good afternoon, Adam. How you doing, buddy?
I'm very good, thanks, Rich. Yourself?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It is morning here. I'm with Adam Daniel. He's in the UK, based in London, right, Adam?
Just outside, yeah.
Born and bred.
Pretty much. I live about 5 miles from where I was born.
I love it. I love it. Adam is he's an educator. He's a coach. He's a consultant, and I've had the pleasure of knowing Adam for about 10 years, and we've got a fun background. I quite like it. We were both in the PTA Global Faculty. Um, uh, Around 2010-ish, I believe, probably 10 years ago. And then loved what Adam was about, and we got him into the company I was working for at the time at Aspria, based in Europe, and we got him into Germany and I think into Belgium as well. We were doing a whole lot of workshops and Viper workshops and behavioral change workshops, and Adam is one of the best educators that I've ever come across, and he's got a mind for the business of the business, and I've learned a lot from you, sir. Thank you for jumping on, Adam. It's been awesome.
It's a real pleasure and an honour to be here. And again, likewise, I admire a lot of what you've done as well, Rich. So yes, that's all really cool.
It was good. We got to catch up in London at the Sweat event in February this year. So it was good to connect again. It'd been a long time, you know.
We need to make sure we have a beer next time, though.
Oh, absolutely. There you go, pal. So Adam, you've got a rich history. You really do. You know, you've played rugby at a very senior level in the UK. You know, you've run for England and you cycled for Great Britain is last year even, right?
World Age Group Championships, yeah.
I mean, that's awesome. Adam, how old are you, buddy?
So I think I'm the same age as you, 42. Is that the same age?
I'm a little bit older, man. I'm banging on 44 here. So, but I get it. We're in the same bracket. So well done. You're a super fit individual. And so tell us a little bit about your background in the industry and what you're doing now.
I mean, how far back do you want me to go? I mean, obviously I've been in the industry, 20, I always forget now, 22 years roughly, yeah. 23 years. So do you want me to start at the beginning and
go for it, buddy.
Brief history?
Yeah, go for it.
So I decided, so I left school. So in the UK, because I know some of you guys will be watching in the States, etc. Our education, you have kind of your middle school, and then you have your senior school education, so A levels. And then typically you go on to university. And I was very fortunate. I went to quite a good school, and everyone in my school went on to university apart from me. Not because I didn't get in, because I applied and I got into a couple of the very good universities based upon my sporting background more than anything, more than my academic. And I decided even back then when I was 18 odd years old that I didn't want to go and work in a bank, or I didn't want to work in finance. I didn't want to be in an office basically. Yeah. However, back then the fitness industry didn't exist. It was kind of, you'd have a few gyms here and there. And I was very lucky. I had very supportive parents, and they sort of said, look, do what makes you happy. And I decided that I was going to go and work in the gym. I was training lots there. I'd run for England at that point, age group. I'd gone out to the World Schools Championships and stuff. And sport was my life. I played rugby from the age of 5. It's everything that I'd done. All I knew was I didn't want to be in an office, and I wanted to do something that was active. So I decided to go and work in a gym. Got my back then, 20 odd years ago, got very simple qualifications. Yeah. They don't look anything like they do these days. I think it was a 2-day course, and I was a personal trainer.
I remember those.
You remember those?
I remember those.
So I think 2 days to be a gym instructor and 2 days to be a PT. So I got qualified and started working in my local independent private gym called Bromley Health Lido. And to this day, it's probably the best job I ever had. Yeah. I had the owner of the business was a bit of an entrepreneur. He was 72 years old at the time. He had performed in the West End on stage. He'd been a circus performer, acrobat. He owned properties all over the country. He was just a real entrepreneur, businessman, but loved training. And he had this gym, and I worked there for 2 years and literally did everything from reception, cleaning the bottom, hoovering the bottom of the swimming pool with the waterproof hoovers, cleaning changing rooms, gym inductions, teaching spin. Yeah. I did everything. And it just gave me a really good grounding in what it takes to run a business, to run a gym, how it works. And yeah, it was just it gave me such a really deep understanding of what you really need to do to be successful as well. Because this guy who owned the gym had grafted all his life, and I learned a lot from him. And unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago. However, awesome individual, and when I say one of the best jobs, moved from there, moved into a gym manager's role in a small gym, and then then when I was 23-ish, I took a dive into personal training. Yeah. It was a bit of a random thing. I had ruptured my ACL playing rugby, and obviously was out for about 9 months. And I went back to my old athletics group, training group, just to help with a bit of coaching, to keep myself busy, as it were. Yeah. And one of the guys there was a regional manager for a personal training company who had the contract with Holmes Place, who are now Virgin. Yep. And he said, Adam, we're looking for a personal trainer at the brand new gym, Holmes Place gym we're opening in Notting Hill. Do you fancy it? I started to go through the interview. It wasn't a done deal. So I went through the interview. I got the job, and that's how I became a personal trainer. So it was a bit of a lucky opportunity. Injured, caught up with somebody that I hadn't seen for a while, and he said, do you fancy it? And that was how I started personal training in Notting Hill, Holmes Place. Yep. Quickly moved through the ranks into managing the team at Notting Hill, so about 15 personal trainers, and then went out to Portugal and Spain and helped set up the PT out in Portugal and Spain for Holmes Place. Yeah. And at the age of 25, decided, you know what, I wanted to work for myself, and because I wasn't too happy, I wasn't very happy with the direction at the time Holmes Place were taking in personal training. My understanding and belief of PT was very different to theirs all of a sudden. Yep. And so I left the business and went self-employed. And fortunately for me, back then, PT studios were very unusual. However, one opened about a 2-minute walk from the Holmes Place in Notting Hill. So I literally just relocated my clients from A to B and carried on life. At that point, I had 30 hours a week, waiting list of 10 to 15 people. Yet the cool thing I'd only worked Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. till 2 p.m. Yep. Done. 30 hours a week. And so when PT say to me, I can never find clients to do that, you can, you just need to find them. You just need to graft, and you need to figure it out. And so when I'm coaching new personal trainers, and they say, you've got to work 15-hour days. You don't. You just need to be smart about finding the clients that suit your lifestyle and how you want to work. And then just from there, everything's kind of escalated over the years. I did some consultancy work for England Rugby. So I worked with their professional referees when they went pro and did their S&C for them. I've done some work for British Rowing. I've worked on their education platforms to get the fitness industry up to speed on rowing education. I've worked for PTA Global with Rich here. I was the head of, what was my official title? Global Education Manager for Viper. Yeah. When Viper came out in the UK and went global, so I was very privileged to work with the likes of Michelle, learn loads of him and some really other cool guys, Derek Price of this world, etc. So Viper in the past, PTA Global, more recently, head of education for What Bike, head of educator or lead educator for MyZone, brand I know you guys use. MyZone primarily because I brought MyZone into the gym that I opened 4 years ago and sold 2 years ago. I used MyZone. I'm a massive fan of MyZone. I think it's one of the best retention tools, client management tools out there. I absolutely love it. What Bike, because of my cycling, when I retired from rugby, took up cycling. Hence what I managed to ride for Great Britain in the age group last year. Threw an MBA in there in international sports management along the way as well. So I've got some formal qualifications, along with all the other I've done all your muscle activation technique stuff, your check stuff, your Poliquin stuff, all that stuff as well. I probably should stop talking.
No, that's good. No, I love it. So you've got this lifelong passion for learning, really. If you look at this, and this is something, that I've noticed with all of the people I've been interviewing that are coaches and educators and fitness leaders that have been in the industry for a while, is this passion for learning, for just constantly learning. I mean, how many other vocations are there like that, where people get out and then they just continue to learn and learn and learn? And a lot of people would just sort of they just start the job with the job. And I think that's the beautiful thing about fitness and health and well-being. We're still learning. We're still learning, and we're taking pieces of what we learned a long time ago and adapting some new things. I love the evolution to where we're heading now, and a more holistic view of fitness, health, and well-being. So you're an educator's educator. You right now you educate coaches, correct?
Yeah, I work with a lot of coaches now. Yeah.
Yep. And you're starting something. You're talking about starting something soon, like an online platform where you can bring coaches in, and you can do, coaching the coaches, and you're talking to me about that before. So
Yeah, Rich. So when lockdown started, I kind of wanted to try and do something for my network and some of the people that I know, or maybe don't even know. And I don't have a massive social media presence, so I thought I don't want to be one of these people doing motivational stuff every day. I wanted to do something a bit more meaningful.
yeah,
Not that that's not. And I started this thing called Thrive to Survive. And ultimately, what it is every week, it was invitation thing only, and now it's grown to about 40 coaches, kind of obviously word of mouth, all that kind of stuff. And every week I bring in an expert to talk about kind of various business skill sets primarily. So, for example, we're obviously all going online at the moment. So I brought a videographer in to talk about how you can create amazing video content for your business. And we kind of check in as well at the start, make sure everyone's healthy and happy, and wins of the week and all that kind of positive affirmation type stuff. And what I'm going to be doing with that once we're out of lockdown is to evolve that into a coaching platform to almost mentor coaches, a support network as well. I think that's really important. And that's the biggest thing I've learned being self-employed for pretty much 20 years is that it's a very lonely place being a coach. It's great if you work for an amazing organization, someone like Midtown where you're at, and you have this big support network. Even then it can get a bit lonely, yet you've still got that support network. If you are within a small organization or you work for yourself, it's a very lonely place to be, especially if you have a lot of travel to do, if you're an educator and you're traveling around the country or the globe. Whilst it looks very glamorous and sounds glamorous, it's a lonely place. And for me, that support network has been invaluable for me over the years that I've built for myself. And it's something that I want to share with other coaches and educators, is that support network, because I do believe that's how we grow as well, is the people that are around us are super important to our success as well.
This whole concept of thrive to survive, I think is incredible. And, you've aimed it at the industry, which is great because we need it. You've had some big speakers on there, Pete Cohen, Emma Barry, and you're about to have Bobby Capuccio, which will be a real treat for you guys, talking about storytelling. And I love the themes that are going on because you're talking about different stuff. You're not just talking about the biomechanics of the body. You're talking about things that are really relevant to coaches these days. I think that's really important. But coaching can be lonely, and there's a lot of coaches that go out on their own. I think there's more coaches that go out on their own in the UK and Europe, maybe Australasia, than there is here in the US. They tend to work for big companies, which is absolutely fine. But it can be a lonely profession because you're really driving your own business, aren't you? You're driving your own business, you're finding your own clients, etc.
I mean, it's not just that. I think it's lonely in the sense of you're there supporting your clients. So whether your client is wanting to lose weight, whether they want to get back onto the rugby pitch, whatever it might be, you're supporting their success. And that takes a lot of emotional energy. And as a coach, you don't necessarily have that same opportunity to share your thoughts and feelings and challenges with other people. And that's where, for me, as I was, I guess, growing as a coach, that's the challenge that I had, was I did find myself, I was working in a PT studio. For whatever reasons, the other PTs generally worked afternoons and evenings, so I was there in the mornings by myself. I was doing my education stuff. I never saw people apart from clients or groups of people that I was coaching. Yeah. I didn't find, what I found was that I wasn't growing emotionally myself, because all my emotional energy went into other people.
Gotcha.
And I think as a coach, one of the most important things you need to work on to be a successful coach in our industry, or in any industry, is you need to work on you first. I'm a firm believer of that. If people say to me, what do you need to do to be a great coach, etc., you need to work on you. And even at this moment in time, there's a lot of turmoil going on. I still believe that with all the stresses and strains of lockdown in different countries, is that you need to work on you first. Because if you're not fit, healthy, emotionally, mentally strong, how can you support other people?
Yeah.
And that's my belief there.
That is absolute gold, Adam. Adam, that is gold. That is gold. And make sure you talk about that on Thrive to Survive, because that's it. We've got to work on ourselves, to be a great coach to others. And I speak, I'm really involved in group programming and instructors, dealing with a lot of group exercise instructors as well as personal trainers and coaches. They're giving energy all the time. There's a lot of energy giving, and that being a coach, first thing in the morning, you could be up at 5 o'clock, even earlier for early clients. And some people, they're taking a nap in the day and coming back late at night. It's the hustle, it can be draining, it can be tiring. So they've got to be able to have their own system in place to deal with their health and wellness as well. So what do you think? What's next for you, Adam? What's next for you?
What's next for me? There's sort of two things. I mentioned already that I want to evolve, or I'm going to evolve this whole Thrive to Survive concept, taking it online. I guess it would be amazing to create a global community of coaches where we can all learn off each other. That's really cool. So I'm kind of currently mapping out how that's going to look. I think, and then the other aspect that we spoke about offline as well was I'm moving into, I guess, this world of the corporate world a little bit. I was very fortunate to meet a very successful lady at a conference. It was a sports and leadership conference. And we got talking, and she had decided that she was going to give up her role at the world's largest law firm as business development director. And she wanted to go into the world of coaching.
Yeah.
And she kind of, it was bizarre. We had like a 3-minute conversation. She checked me out on LinkedIn. She messaged me and said, look, I think you're going to fit with what I'm trying to do, because she wants to do something quite unique. And she wants to take the health and fitness philosophies and embed that in leadership programming development. And so much so, she actually did her level 3 qualification in the UK as well. So she's actually a qualified PT, oddly enough. And so what she's been doing in the business I'm heavily involved with is we're now going to start working with a lot of corporates. So we've had contracts with Accenture, the largest law firm in Scotland we did some stuff with. And it's all about helping them become more effective leaders. Yet, like I say, we're using health and philosophy. So we use the idea of agility. So we might use agility ladders to help them understand how they need to be more agile in the work environment, which you guys might be sitting there going, well, that's obvious. And I think that all the time. When we come up with these really cool drills, they love it because it's so unique and different to them. And so for me, I find that really exciting because I'm now working with some really interesting individuals, generally quite clever individuals, yet for them this is all brand new.
Yeah.
And you see some very quick learnings and changes in their behaviors and their mindset. So that's something that's been going about a year now. That started, but even at this time, we're doing some online stuff. It's quite an easy thing to do online. So I'm excited to see where that's going to go over the next year, because we're in some talks with some quite large organizations, and the potential to actually influence a large number of people in some very important roles, which will be quite cool.
I love it. It's just all about expanding just outside of the physical and creating the mental and emotional coaching as well, and within companies, and I think that's needed. It's really, really needed. And I think coaching is becoming more accepted. It's a common term now, coaching, life coaching and physical coaching and body, mind, and spirit. So I love all of that. Look, you wear so many hats. You do lots of things. We've talked about that. But what keeps you going? What fuels the fire? What is it?
I mean, it's a very simple question. It's a very deep question. What fuels my fire? I think it's just I do have where it's come from, I don't know. I just have a passion and an excitement about helping people be a better version of themselves. It's as simple as that. I know that sounds a bit of a cliche, the whole better version of themselves type of thing. Yeah, I can't think of a simpler way to put it. It's helping people understand their why. And I think that's important as a coach, is that there's a difference of the why and the what, i.e., I want to lose weight is the what. Why do you want to lose weight is the emotional driver. And as a coach, if you're not already differentiating between the two, it's something you need to be doing. Because when you understand the emotional driver, that's when you get true success. If you just take someone to help them lose a stone, that's not really getting them to the end goal. It's just part of the process. So for me, helping people understand what their true why is super important. And it's also that sense of when someone actually realizes, because a lot of people haven't really thought about it, and they don't actually truly go, oh, I haven't thought about it. When you have those questions and you dig deep and you find out and they go, wow, I never really thought about that. For me, that is just like, that's why I do what I do. And they see that, almost that acceptance of, now I know why I want to do this. And it's even more fulfilling for me is when they achieve it. And when they cross the finish line of the London Marathon and their young son's there to see them do that. And that was their driver. So for their son to see them finish the London Marathon, so they can be a role model for their son. Seeing them achieve that, that fulfills me. That makes me all warm and fuzzy inside. And that's why I do what I do. It's just that helping people succeed. It's just something I love doing.
And if we could record that last 2 minutes, the answer to that question, and play that at the beginning of every personal training or fitness instruction certification or education out there, people will be inspired. I mean, that's at the heart of why we do what we do. And that's why this industry, whatever this industry is, I call it the industry, but I don't know what industry we're in, is so incredible. You're doing so much, and so much at the moment. That's awesome, Adam. I love that.
Just quickly, if I can jump in there on that note, I mean, it's a tricky one because a lot of PTs in this day and age as well will come into it, and without going down a rabbit warren or anything like that, obviously there's a lot of sales when gym education comes to try and sell education of how much you can earn, all this kind of stuff. And this is something I believe from day one. And also I've kind of spoken to young PTs, and young being, i.e. new to the world of PT, is that if you go chasing money in the fitness world, you won't make any money at all. If you go out there to genuinely help people change, you will earn however much money you want to earn. And I truly believe that. And that's something, and that's why in the UK, 50% of PTs are dropping out per year, roughly, because they're in it to make money, more potentially. More. I mean, I have no idea the number in the States. And I truly believe that is that if you can find something that inspires you to wake up each day, and you wake up each day with a smile on your face, the financial benefits will come at whatever point in your career. It will come, and it might take a bit longer than you want. It will be there. And I also say, and this has happened to me 4 times in my life, if you ever wake up and you do not want to go to work, change it. Because we are, I think, as fitness professionals, whatever you do in our industry, or whatever we want to call it now, this world of health and fitness, we are very fortunate that we have an opportunity to wake up every day and absolutely love what we do.
Yeah.
And if any day you wake up and you've fallen out of love with what you're currently doing, then we also are in an amazing industry where we have the opportunity to change what we do. So I have one of my oldest friends, Mark. We've known each other since we were 5. Play school, primary school, secondary school together. He's an accountant. He works for huge investment banks all around the world. Financially, he's done amazingly well. Yet he regularly sends messages on WhatsApp going, mate, have you got a job? Can I come and work for you? I hate what I do.
Yeah.
And he's like, I so wish I'd done something different at university. I so wish I'd done exercise science at uni. And a lot of my friends are in that position. And in our industry, we have an opportunity where our industry is growing all the time in so many different directions.
Yeah.
The biggest bit of advice I say to anyone is that if you wake up and you're not happy with where your direction is going, change it, because our industry is in inverted commas an easy thing to do. And there's been 4 times in my career I've woken up and thought, shit, I don't want to go to work today, or I'm not enjoying what I'm doing. So guess what? I moved on, literally within weeks. I think I digressed there a bit, Rich. Sorry.
No, but that was powerful, and it's important. It's important, and I feel we need. It's a hard industry to create a career in. You've got to go in for the right reasons, and you're dead right. The money will come. It takes me back to your first comment, where your first job was working in a health club, and you worked in different positions, reception and all over in different spaces, but you loved it. If you're a personal trainer and you did that and you went in there with that passion and you worked at reception, you're walking the floor, you're helping people out, you're jumping into classes, your your deck of clients and your expansion will grow super quick. I mean, it's just how you do it. It's how you do it. Lack of ego and wanting to be of service, with the right expertise, for sure.
All about.
And I think you and I could talk all day about this. This has been awesome. You've come up with some gold here, and I really hope people listen to this all the way through, because, and particularly some new coaches out there and people in the industry, because you've really covered some great stuff. I just want to say thank you for all you do for so many people out there, education and consultancy, but just your mark on the industry. You always help people. I loved seeing you in London in February, and you're a connector, you're engaged, and you're true to yourself. And I love that real lack of ego. So I appreciate you, buddy. Take care, man.
Love back to you, buddy. Thank you very much.
No worries, man.